Okay, so I've been chasing down kind of like this squeak, little chirping sounds on this truck for a while. It used to be it'd only do it when it was cold, and so since the truck had about 68,000 miles on it at the time, I went ahead and replaced the serpentine belt on it. When I pulled it off, it was pretty stiff, so I didn't feel bad about doing it. And then right then and there, when I put the belt back on, it wasn't doing it. So I thought, okay, hey, maybe I solved the problem. Weather warmed up and it wasn't doing it too much. Well, now it's end of February and the truck's been chirping a lot, far more common. And I think what I've got it figured out to be is actually the fan clutch. When it's running, I've sprayed water on the belt. It's kind of one of the troubleshooting steps, and it doesn't stop the chirp. So it's not the belt. We've got something else going on. And when I grab the fan and kind of jerk it around a little bit, I can get a very, very faint squeak. So I ordered a new fan clutch and we're headed out to my dad's shop to put it on. So we'll see if that takes care of it. And when we get there, I'll go ahead and show you guys the noise and show you what the troubleshooting I did was. So hopefully this video will give everybody a good chance to see what is involved in changing out the fan clutch on a 2015 Tundra, or honestly probably any Tundra made from 2007 now through at least 2021 with the 5.7. All right, thanks for checking this out with us. Hey, Liam.
What? Whoa, you like slid.
Good times. Okay, so it's purring like a kitten right now, which is why this has been so hard to track down. I'm gonna go ahead and show you some footage I took on my phone. It's not the best, but you'll be able to hear the squeaks that it was doing there. So let me go ahead and put that up now. Okay, so hopefully that showed you kind of why we're chasing this down and why I think it is the part it is. So from here, we'll go and turn it off, cool it off. And I think what we got to do is get the hose off, fan shroud out, and then we've just got our 4 bolts. Shouldn't have to loosen too much on here. It should be relatively simple, but we'll get some light in here so that we can show everybody what we're doing. Okay, so looking this over, one of the things we'll have to do on here is these fan shroud bolts right there. It's a 10 millimeter. And that nut sits in there, so once you get the bolt out, keep an eye on that nut. We're going to pull that out. And then on the fan clutch down here, okay, so down here on the fan clutch we've got 4 bolts that are 12 millimeters each. So we got to get those broken free. So what I'm going to do is loosen those first, and then once those are loose and just we can finger them off, then I'm going to take the fan cover off. I was worried about that. May have to get a socket for a better jerk on it. Or get a second wrench to hold it from spinning, you know? So what we're happening here is the pulley is spinning on the belt. Yep. Let me get a second wrench to hold. Reach 2 hands in here. Okay, there's one. There's 2 loose. Okay, so what we're doing is using a second wrench to hold the pulley from spinning. I'm just trying to spin it around enough to get the next one. Okay, so we've got, hard to see down here, we got 3 of the 4 nuts off. That last nut is just finger loose, leaving it there until we're ready, because this started to rock back and forth loose. Fan shroud was simple with 2 bolts. Went ahead and left the nut in there, it's held well. And we were cooled down enough to have no pressure. Popped the hose off. The fluid was still hot. Lost a handful because you're draining the fluid out of this top bar when you do that, but I needed this out of the way so that this could rock forward more. So now we're going to go ahead and take that last nut off and see if we can pull it out. Okay, so I'm pausing the video to swallow some of my pride for a moment on here, because I want to show you guys something that I completely screwed up on through the rest of the video. So this is a picture of the truck on the passenger side. You can see on my mouse right here. Here's the fan shroud, the radiator's on this side. So on the fan shroud, you've got these 2 hoses and you've got this clamp that would release and free up these hoses. My dad made a comment about releasing something else while we were working. I thought he was talking about the radiator overflow coolant tank, which is attached to the fan shroud. That doesn't need to come off. he was talking about this clip. So I said no, so he didn't say anything else. So throughout the video, I'm trying to move this around, and this clamp is on here attached to these hoses. And so as you can imagine, that greatly limits the ability to move the fan shroud out of the way. So I do believe had I unclipped this, could have lifted the fan shroud out. So I mean, it is what it is. To make this video more complete, if you try this, unclip this, if it doesn't make a difference, we do get it done in the video. It gets done. It just is a lot harder than it needed to be. So anyway, let's go back to it. Okay, might need this. Okay, so now, ooh, you gotta be really careful not to hit the radiator. Hopefully I didn't. Okay, we're clear. Let's see if we can. Well, we're still struggling for room, aren't we? Uh-oh. Lost something. We're not coming out cleanly. We're hitting that hose now. We just need a little more room is all. It's tight. There's no doubt about it, it's tight. Do you see? My apologies for stepping away from the phone for a minute. What we ended up doing was we took the battery and the tray out, and then with the fan shroud right here, we're able to push that forward. And as we brought it out, we kind of spun the fan to walk it out. But that was where we brought it out. I don't think I punctured the radiator. We'll find that out later. Did hear a little clank, so I'm gonna have to look down below. I might have lost a bracket where this sits down below, so might have to, can we get any light? Might have to look down there a little bit later. Okay, so the fan itself is held on with these bolts. We just gotta take these off, swap them over to the new one. The bolts and threads are built into the fan, so we just got to take the nuts off. So that'll be a quick swap to get that moved back over. There we go. Okay. How far this is recessed on each side is different. And so it won't go the wrong way. So there it fits on. If you try to put it on the other way, it's not going to go. It hits. So while it does have a correct way to go, you really can't put it on the wrong way. So the revelation for today was we should have took that little hose off that goes into the drain overflow, because by doing that, we got an extra inch of height, and then I was able to walk it in sideways right here. So we have it sitting in there with just one nut. Okay, so now that that's there, we'll go ahead and slide the fan cover back over, get that tightened down, and start putting things back together. And reprogram the radio too. I don't know if we get any light here down for you guys, but down there on the fan shroud is a little tab, and if you don't sit that in the tab, there will be an air gap on the radiator and it won't cool right. So make sure your fan shroud at the bottom is put back into that tab. Okay, so we are put back together. Hoses on, topped off some radiator fluid, and we got all 4 of those bolts tightened. Okay, so on that pulley, when you're putting it on, it didn't want to just lay in there flush right away. So what we did is we tightened 2 of them across from each other, probably 85% of the way there, and then did the same thing to the other 2, and then just kind of tightened them from there. When you're tightening the bolts, you have no problem getting tension. It's when you're untightening them is when it wants to spin on the pulley. And so that takes a little bit more work. But like I said, when they're spinning against the pulley, just use 2 wrenches, 1 on each side, and you can keep it from spinning. So at this point, battery's back in. We're gonna fire it up. I'm expecting to get quite a bit of belt squeal because of the radiator fluid we spilled. If we don't, we don't, great. Then I'll probably have to go hose it off because it's gonna stink for a few days. And I wanna make sure that if I do have any radiator leaks, I can find them. So we gotta get all that cleaned up. But let's go ahead and fire it up and see if we got this taken care of. Oh. Oh, hey, no squeal. Okay, so right now we got a lot of air flowing because the clutch is pretty tight. Especially if the truck's cold, it'll blow really hard at first until it loosens up. But let's give this a second to idle down. Okay, well, we are partially idled down and we have no squeaks, no chirps, just a nice running truck. So, okay, so we don't have any squeaks or squeals right now, so I'll take that. I'm gonna go ahead and drive it home, let it go through some operating temperatures, make sure everything's okay, and I'll make sure that it's not squeaking or squealing. Okay, so we are home and the truck has been whisper quiet, so I'm gonna say it's fixed. I'm gonna go with that. Even though it didn't do it at my dad's place today, I'm still gonna go with the problem was fixed. So if it turns out it wasn't, I will follow up with this video later and pin a comment at the top if it comes back, if the chirp comes back, because then we gotta follow up and do something else for it. But for today, it's fixed. That's the story, we're sticking to it. So if you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. We appreciate you watching this one with us. And even though we didn't get to film it the whole way through, hopefully this gives some advice to anybody else who wants to do the same type of work on your truck. All right, thanks for watching. Okay, we're kind of into bonus footage here just for fun. I took apart the old one and split it in half. So I got it in the vise. And so that is the old part that would bolt to the truck. And because it's a clutch fan, we'll sit here and spin. And you can see it spinning there. Now on the other side, I believe that is somehow temperature sensitive. Okay, trying to get enough light here. So pay attention to how far this part's sitting over. I'm gonna take a lighter here real quick, put the camera down, and I'm gonna heat up that bottom part right there. I'm not smart enough to really understand how all this works, but you can see by heating that part up, it created a gap right there. And then over here, those channels are now wide open. So I have a feeling what it's doing somehow is affecting the way the fluid flows through this unit and limiting the flow, which would, I think, then make this engage closer to a more consistent ratio with the motor. I'm not 100% sure. If any of you have the full knowledge, feel free to post it in the comments, just because I'm kind of curious. A lot of vehicles now, especially in the half-ton markets, run off of electric fans. They're a little more efficient because they can completely turn off when it's not needed. But in a lot of like the heavy duty trucks, you will see clutch fans still used predominantly. So I don't know Toyota's full decision in a half-ton truck using this unit, but obviously they felt that that would give it a better cooling solution, but it's not as efficient. And since the half-ton market's really about efficiency, I guess maybe that makes sense. Okay, and an extra little point here. So as this is now cooling off, these tabs are starting to become blocked. Okay, so after applying heat, those are now opened up. And so I believe that would engage the clutch harder so that it spun closer to a 1-to-1, if not a 1-to-1 ratio. But we're always trying to learn something.